Welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. I am but one of your hosts this afternoon, morning, or whenever you happen to be watching or listening to this radio program. Sean Boyle, with me is
Ashley Mott.
And because of a wonderful partnership with the WLX St. Lucie County Education Channel, as well as our partner with WFLM, today is the day where it's both video and audio.
We're really tested today.
So we're, these radio faces become TV faces. So sorry about that. But welcome to the half hour, best way you can start your day, or whatever part of the day you're listening to learn about what resources and things are available for children and families in St. Lucie County. We come to you for the show because at the Children's Services Council, we do 5 things for our community. And those 5 things are: 1, make sure every baby's a healthy baby; 2, stop child abuse before it happens; 3, keep kids off the streets; 4, keep them in school; and 5, keep them off drugs, alcohol, and other risky behaviors by offering programs and resources for all families in St. Lucie County.
Good thing you can count on your fingers.
Normally I don't do the visual, but I was like, I'm on TV, I got to keep it up, right?
Understood. So of those 5 priority areas that Sean talked about, there are about 50 programs that we're working with on an annual basis. And this summer, we've got some additional programs that we're also working with. And we've had a lot of fun this summer we joked, if you've listened to the show before, Summertime Sandy, who's one of our team members, who goes out into the community to do a lot of those visits. And we've gotten some really good...
So if you ever see Sandy and you're like, what is the dress code at Children's Services Council because he's wearing shorts and a t-shirt, it's because he's spending his whole entire day at summer camps making sure that the children are getting the services they need.
And he does. When I pulled into the office today, he was pulling out, and it was not even 8 o'clock yet. So he's doing a great job this summer, but we do have a lot of programs all year that serve children all year long, and you can learn about them on our website, which is cscslc.org. We also have a heavy presence on Facebook where we share a lot of information about those programs, a lot of pictures over the summer that we've gotten from those visits. And a recent picture that I want to mention, I know you're going to talk about St. Lucie Reads, but one of the things that we had talked about in the last couple of weeks on the show is our Slide Into Reading event that we had several weeks ago. Great turnout with a partnership with Florida Power and Light and the Mets, and just really cool opportunity. Well, one of the things that we did on Facebook for that event was to ask families who were coming to the event to tag a friend that was coming with them, and we gave away 2 children's libraries to 2 local families who had participated in that little kind of fun thing with us. And we got a great picture last week from one of the families who got some of those books. So take a look at our Facebook page. There's a lot of fun stuff on it.
And we post on there almost every day.
Just about.
It's almost too much in a way. But real quick about St. Lucie Reads, since you mentioned it, it's a good segue. We have joined with multiple partners, including the school district, the Parent Academy, Early Learning Coalition, I can't name them all, the county, the library system, to make 3rd grade reading levels a priority for our community. In order for a child to succeed in high school, they have to be able to succeed in school, they have to be able to read. And one of the benchmarks is really 3rd grade reading level. Nationally, they say that if a child can't read by 3rd grade, they're 4 times less likely to graduate high school. If they come from a low-income neighborhood and they can't read at 3rd grade, they're 13 times less likely to graduate high school. So we've started a public campaign called St. Lucie Reads. I know you're very excited about it. You can go to stluciereads.org, STLUCIE reads.org. I think I got that right.
You did.
And find out how you can get involved. And it's really a 3-pillar campaign, and it's designed so that anybody can do it. The first thing is, quite simply, read to your child every single day. Now, if your child is above 3rd grade, or if you're a grandparent, you have control of your parent, or the parent of that child, your child. Make sure that they are reading to their grandchild, your grandchild, every single day, regardless of the age, every single day. The second one is you can become a reading mentor. It only takes 1 hour a week. You can choose the school that you want to go to. You can choose the grade level, but they work with struggling readers in our school system. We have over 500 mentors currently working with kids, but we have over 200 plus struggling readers that are on a waiting list waiting for you to become a reading mentor. Or you can simply donate books or money to buy books. I'm not going to lie, money to buy books.
Money's okay.
Because what we are doing is we are repurposing those books and getting them into the hands of those children that don't have access to books. So again, we're very much data driven, right?
Yeah.
Nationally, children from middle to higher incomes, they have access to books. There's 12 books for every child on average in middle to higher income families. For those families that are in lower incomes, there's 1 book for every 300 children. So think about that. How can we encourage children to read if They don't even have reading material available to them. So what we are doing with those repurposed books is we are setting up what we call little libraries. We currently have 50+ locations.
52 right now.
And we
today.
want everybody to establish one. We come out, we set up a little library rack. We fill it full of books. And the idea is while somebody's at your business or place of worship or wherever they may be, while they're waiting, those children or those parents pick up a book and read to their child. If they put the book back, that's a great thing. But if they happen to walk away with it, that's another reading material that's in the household of those kids. We currently have over 52. You can go to stluciereads.org. There's a map of them in the entire county. We do need more locations in Port St. Lucie, if I can put that out there.
Yeah, I like it.
So find out how you can be involved. Either read to your child or grandchild, mentor, or donate. And just go to stluciereads.org.
And if you are interested in hosting a little library at your business or your church or your organization, there's a quick, easy form that you just fill out right there on the website, and it sends an email to us, and we'll follow up with you to make sure that you get one.
It's so simple. All you got to do is say, we want one, and then
show
myself,
up.
Ashley, or Summertime Sandy comes out and delivers it for you.
It's so easy. One more thing that we do over the summer that's a lot of fun is the $1 movies that happen at Regal Cinemas at the Treasure Coast Mall. And because this show in particular airs for the length of the month, I didn't want to tell you what movies are happening this week other than to encourage you to visit our website where we have the full schedule posted. I can tell you that there are still some really great movies left in the summer schedule, including Lego Batman, which is a favorite in my house. I don't know if have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. That's the one child show I've seen.
But there are some still really good movies available, and those movies play at 10 a.m. on both Tuesday and Wednesday every week through the rest of the summer. A really simple, easy, cheap thing to do with your kids.
And, have them read a book on the way to the movie theater.
There you go.
There's nothing else you can do for $1 to get out of this summer heat.
No, certainly
That's a great deal. It's a great deal.
Certainly not.
Can I just add one more thing before we
Sure,
jump to our
yeah.
guests? And I say this, I want to bring it up because we've been bringing it up on the radio program, but I want to make sure that our televised audience, one of our priorities is making sure every baby's a healthy baby. And one of the services that we offer is a nurse home visit. So when a mother gives birth in St. Lucie County, regardless of which hospital she goes to, she returns home with the greatest responsibility she will ever have. We have a program, it's a volunteer program, where a registered nurse will come to the home within 1 week of them returning home from the hospital to check on the health of the mother, the health of the baby, stress level of the father, speaking from experience, and then basically to answer any and all questions that new family may have. We bring that up because this program has literally saved mothers and babies' lives in St. Lucie County. And it's a great way for that family to feel confident and to bond with their child early. We want to increase the utilization rate of that program. So 2 years ago, 95% of all births took advantage of that service. This past year, it dipped down to 82%. And there's a segment of the community that's not utilizing that visit. So we want to make sure that if you're a parent and your child is getting ready to have a baby, or if you just go to your church or whatever and talk about this resource, we want to make sure that it becomes the norm in St. Lucie County that you give birth at the hospital, when you come home, you automatically get that nurse home visit. We want to make sure that over 90% of the families get this visit because this program literally saves mothers and babies' lives, and we want to make sure that no tragedy happens that could be prevented.
And one of the things that they do on the visit that really is important for families is that they, in addition to the tips that they offer to parents, they check on home safety as well. So they can kind of scan the house, identify situations that maybe the parents aren't paying attention to or aren't thinking about. And, since safety is something we're going to talk about today.
Perfect segue. I did that on purpose. Yes.
But again, it is a good kind of start for that family to get. And that is the first of several home visiting programs that we have that are options for our local families.
And they're not there to judge. They're not there to, do anything bad. They're there to be your advocate to make sure that you and your child get off to a great start. So please, 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 if you know anybody that's expecting or getting ready to deliver, make sure they sign up for that nurse home visit.
Yes. Okay, so we mentioned safety.
Safety segue.
Safety segue. Oh, I like that.
I'm all about the rhymes.
It's summer, and there's a lot of things that happen in the summer that kind of draw some special attention to unique situations that we have here. we talk about water safety a lot. We try to mention it anytime that we think families in our community might be out and about in the water, spring break, holiday
All but
weekends.
1 month of the year,
right,
pretty much.
right. And we are lucky here that we can use the water that's around us kind of more frequently than people in other parts of the country. But water safety is a big issue, and already this year we have had several situations that have caused some concern for lots of us who sit on groups around the county that deal with water safety. So we're really excited about the show that we have today. We're going to talk to two very important people in the safety world in our community. Adam Jones is with us from the Department of Parks and Rec with St. Lucie County, and Stacey Carter is with us from St. Lucie County Fire District. So we've got a couple things that we want to talk about, and obviously water safety I mentioned is one of those big ones. So Adam, that's kind of your world.
That's my world, yes, every day.
And we know, we talk every year about the water safety lessons that are offered through the county, and what parents can expect at those. But what does that look like in our community? How many people are taking advantage of it? Where can people learn more information? Is there still an opportunity this summer?
There's actually a lot of opportunity still. Last year, I go last year because that's data, we dropped down a lot last year because of changing staff, things like that, but we had roughly 700 individuals go through our lessons. This year, we're looking on track to be almost at 1,200.
Wow.
So it's a huge jump from last year. On top of that, Children's Services Council helps out with scholarships, so if you do come in to sign up, unfortunately, we've already used that portion of the funding, but we do have other funding that we use. And if it's a big need here, so we have reached out to multiple people, multiple organizations that are helping out. But one of the big factors to come in, you sign up, get those children swimming. That's our goal. We're not going to say they're going to be Michael Phelps when they're done, but they will have the water sense and the water safety. So when if they do get in a situation, they'll be okay. So that's our goal.
And that's really, one of the most important things I think about those lessons programs is having the conversations with parents too, because we can make the kids' water safe, if you will, but if the parents aren't exercising some of those water safety kind of ideals in their home, and it makes things a lot more difficult. And I know that working with Safe Kids and some other organizations, you guys have done some extra things this year.
Yes, we've done a lot of extra things, actually. We just finished a partnership with the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Department with, they actually did one of their swim camps, or summer camps was swim lessons. They did 3 weeks of lessons, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Great turnout. The Sheriff's Department was kind of iffy at first because it was out of their realm, but they teamed together as a great organization to go. And then with Safe Kids, we had the pool alarms. We had these last year, but they didn't go anywhere. So this year, with the people drowning in their home pools, things like that, we actually offered to go out and install those in the homes that people need them. We've got a lot of phone calls, even outside of St. Lucie County, so we're getting the connections with the Safe Kid Coalitions there, things like that, so we can get out to these homes and install them. Because the big factor is when you come to our pool, yes, we have lifeguards, but we still put it back on the parents. Just because we're there doesn't mean they're safe. I don't say that in a mean way, it's just we have 100 people look at, you have your family to look at. So if you do come to a St. Lucie County pool, yes, they're lifeguarded, yes, we're staffed, but please still have the supervision of your child. When you're at home, don't just think, hey, we're cooking out, having a great time. Still watch those kids, have a water watcher be on duty at all times watching those children, because it could happen in a split second.
You and I talked about, you expressed a story about you were somewhere and it wasn't your child in the pool, and you were ended up being the water watcher because, I think people think, oh, I'm by the pool, I'm on my phone, I'm reading a book, I'm watching. If somebody drowns or somebody starts to struggle, I'll hear it.
Right.
But it's complete focus on those children to make sure.
We run into situations all the time where the parents will come in and like, oh, there's a lifeguard, you're fine, and they'll walk away. And we try to grab them and say, hey, just because there's a lifeguard doesn't mean we're going to have 100% focus on your child or just your children. So the parents get kind of upset, or when we have to go tell them, hey, little Johnny or Susie, had a problem. Well, that's what you're here for. Yes, but we still need you to be a supervisor of your children, and they still get mad about it, but we calm them down, we get back to having fun and do the normal things. But that's the biggest factor that happens when they are at our facility or at home. the supervision. It's a major factor in it.
But it's one of those like non-negotiables.
Yeah.
You just have to
We
watch
don't negotiate that
them.
way. Nope.
No. So back to the pool alarms. Are there still some left? Is that still an option?
Yes,
How can people get them?
We still have some left. Call Safe Kids of St. Lucie County. I don't know the phone number right offhand, but Rhonda at Safe Kids, she'll be able to get a time set up. If it's something you don't need us to come and install, you just need them, we can just drop them off. They're real easy to use. They come in packs of 2. If you can't get with us or you're in need right now and you just can't get us, they sell them at Home Depot, $10 to $12. It's a simple sticky thing you stick on the windows and the doors, and they're super loud, so you'll hear the neighbors actually hear them too, so it's kind of nice. And it wakes you up when you hear that sound. So I call it the burglar alarm, but it's so your kids don't get in the pool by themselves. So.
And what's the number? I assume they don't call Rhonda for the swim lessons.
No,
That's you.
they call me for the swim lessons. They can call Ravenswood Pool, and that's 871-2183.
And maybe we just assume that our viewers or listeners know where all the county pools are at. But do you maybe want to go over where all the locations are?
Absolutely. We have 3 locations. We have one up in Lakewood Park. That's the north end of the county. We have one in Fort Pierce, just right down the street at 13th and Avenue M. And then we have one in Port St. Lucie, Ravenswood, right across from Sportsman Park or next to the library. So.
And they are all being well utilized this
Very
summer.
much so this year. It's kind of crazy this year because last year when I first started with this with the county, it was very slow. But this year, since day one, we've been slammed everywhere. So, and it's been really, very nice that way. So.
Good, that's good.
So I heard Adam say they still have openings for swim
We
lessons.
still have a lot of openings for swim lessons. Please come out. Just because CSC funding is not there anymore, we still have funding. We can still get you swim lessons, and we'll work every way we can to make sure that happens.
871-2183.
Yes. Or go to the St. Lucie County website, stluciecode.gov, and you can find us on there and sign up for registration on there as well.
Perfect. It's very cool. So one of the other things, unfortunately, I'm going to say unfortunately, that we hear a lot about in the summer is kids being left in hot cars. And I think I want to say that we've been lucky that we haven't had a situation locally in a while that has been really devastating. But they have happened already this year, frequently this summer. And I know it's something that just seems like everybody knows what to do, but we still hear a lot about it. So I know, Stacey, you and I talked a little bit about some of the things that parents can do, or ways that we could sort of get information out there about not only hot cars, but also heat stroke and things like that that really just are more prevalent in the summer months.
With the vehicular heat stroke, a lot of people don't realize that the temperature in your car within 10 minutes can rise up to 20 degrees. So when I talk to parents, I like to tell them, look before you lock your door. That's something that will help them to remember. They can get in the habit of doing that. Another thing that you could do is, if you have an employee badge that you wear to work every day, you could put it in the back seat with your child. If you have a stuffed animal, maybe their favorite toy, you could leave it in the front seat next to you so that it's a helpful reminder that they're still in the back seat. So there are several little steps that you could take to help to ensure that you don't forget your child in the back seat and that you're able to get them out. As far as the heat stroke is concerned, you can start to experience heat stroke when your core temperature rises to over 104 degrees. Heat stroke can be caused by exertion, exercise, just the typical heat of the day. We've had feel like temperatures over 100 degrees here. So some of the signs and symptoms that you would start to experience if you had heat stroke, you may start to get a headache. You may start to feel a little bit confused. Immediately, you should get yourself under a shade. If you are with someone who you feel is experiencing heat stroke, then you would want to get cool water to put on them. Call 911 immediately to get them extra help that they need.
Those are good tips too about the car, because again, it's something that we consider sort of common sense. But unfortunately, there's just some situations where maybe you don't normally take the kids to daycare, but it's summer and the schedules are different, so you're dropping them off now. There's a lot of different situations that we don't always take into consideration.
Right, and there is a car manufacturer that's getting on board. They're going to have an indication light that's going to come on when your child is in the back seat. Right now, it is in the 2017 GMC Acadia.
Oh, very cool.
So car manufacturers are getting on board. They are realizing that this is something that people need. So just like you leave your keys in the ignition and there's an alert to let you know, there's going to be alert in vehicles to let you know that your child is still in the back seat. You could even put a sticker on your window, so when you close the door, anything to help you to remember that they're in the back seat.
Put your cell phone back there.
Yeah, there
Yes.
you go. Not supposed to be using it anyway.
Exactly.
Right.
And we're fortunately, like you said, we haven't had any tragedies this year locally in regards to hot cars and children. And I know we're obviously the Children's Services Council, but a lot of times people put their pets in their cars and they're like, oh, I'm just running into Walgreens. But to your point,
Same situation,
Exactly.
and so if you see a situation like that, because that happened to me. I pulled up to Walgreens and there was a dog in a car and the window was cracked a little bit. Should they call the police?
Yes. Absolutely.
Don't break the window yourself. Call the police.
No, you need to call the first responders.
Okay.
One more question that I wanted to ask you about, and I know that we're past the July 4th holiday now, but fireworks and fire safety seem to be something that a lot of people are grilling out, a lot of people are camping out over the summer. So fire is a serious concern. I think we're hopefully out of that really serious burn window that we were in for a long time, it felt like.
Right.
But there's still a lot of dangerous things that can happen, especially when families are using fire.
Well, Florida is the second largest state in our nation for brush fires, wildfires. So one of the things that I like to tell people to do is to maintain at least a 30-foot space around your home, around your structure, and we like to keep it lean, clean, and green. So what I mean by lean is that you want to make sure that the plants that you have around your home are non-flammable plants. So a lot of our flammable plants in St. Lucie County consist of our pine trees, highly flammable, and our cabbage palms. So you want to make sure that you don't have those around your home. Clean, meaning that you want to clean out your gutters, because if there were a fire nearby, that ash could ignite, get into your gutters, and cause a fire. So you want to make sure that the area around your home is clean. You can prune your trees. Once you've pruned them, you need to set them out by the street for proper disposal. So you want to clean up your area. The last one is green. You could plant plants that are high in a water content, such as aloe and cactus and things of that nature. So if you do those three things, you're already in a good spot for keeping your home safe from fire danger.
And
I think Stacey just gave my to-do list for the weekend. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I think a cactus would grow in my yard. That might be the only thing that would. But yeah.
gonna work on that when you get home. And again, too, a lot more families and kids are around fire, like either camping or fireworks or whatever it is. Are there some tips maybe to give to families about teaching kids how to be safe around those situations?
Right. It's important with children that we teach them that lighters and matches are tools and that they're not toys. We don't want them in a child's hands. And one of the biggest cause of juvenile fire setting is children having exposure to lighters and matches. So please, parents, put those lighters and matches away in a locked cabinet out of reach from children. That's extremely important. If a lot of people now too do have the fire pits in their backyard, so you always want to be sure that your child, just like you always have to watch them when they're in the water, when they're swimming, you always want to watch them and make sure that they're safe and that there's adult supervision around a fire where a fire is concerned. And if you are lighting a campfire or your fire pit, please make sure that it is completely extinguished and out before you leave the area.
I can share a personal story. It didn't happen in Florida, but it happened when I was young, about fire and keeping lighters and matches away, and also educating your child about the dangers of it. I remember the first time I lit a match, because I'd seen my dad smoked. I saw him light a match all the time, so I went out in the garage and lit a match. I didn't know what to do with it, so I threw it in the trash can. Almost set the entire garage on fire because I didn't know what to do with it.
Right, because no one ever told you
Right,
to
Right.
put a match in the garbage can.
Right. And
I was
children.
really young, by the way, just want to clarify that.
Children have a natural curiosity. It's normal for children, to be fascinated by fire. But like you said, it's education. It's the parents' education starts at home, teaching them, the dangers of fire. Me getting out to the schools and into the community, to teach them about the dangers of fire. So it starts at home, though.
Sorry, I just have a question. Where are we right now in our drought rating, brush fire risk? Are we good?
We're good. We are no longer under a burn ban. You were right. Our dry season extended. We didn't get rain until I think it was the second to the last week in June this year. So it went a little bit further than it has in the past. But we are good as long as we keep getting our summertime rains. We should be fine.
Okay.
We should be fine.
So we've got a couple minutes left on the show, and I thought, let's kind of bring it all full circle because we've introduced Adam and Stacey. And because water, death by drowning is one of the leading causes of death for children in the state of Florida, can you maybe just a couple of tips before we go that parents should, practice when they're around water? Because I think everybody thinks that, one, it's loud, and two, it's going to happen at the swimming pool. And there's water everywhere in Florida.
Right.
Yeah, one of the things we do is when we go to the schools, we don't teach just about the swimming pool. We teach about the beach, the canals. I mean, there's water. You go to the parking lot, there's water there. It happens all over the place. Even in the bathtub, I get a few calls back from about someone drowning in a bathtub, and you're like, where's the parent? I see it all the time when I watch my nephews and stuff. They're in the bathtub, and the first thing I'm there, I'm always sitting there watching it. Because it can only, I've heard the stories of a half-inch water. If there's water, it can happen. And then we talk about the dry drowning. So we have the issue of we save them, but then they go home. They don't get, they don't call EMS or anything. They go home and then they actually die at home. So that's something that happens after the fact. So we want to make sure they get the proper medical attention, get taken to the hospital, things like that, so they can be monitored, because that does happen. And it's nothing new. It's just now it's happening more and more because they're afraid to call EMS because of costs and things. But if there's a doubt, just go. That's what we say.
Right. And when I go out into the community, I like to tell the parents to remember the ABCs of drowning prevention. A, meaning adult supervision. You always want to be within an arm's reach of your child when they're swimming. B, barriers. You want to have self-locking latching gates that close behind them, and like Adam was saying, the alarms, the pool alarms, are extremely important. C, you want to make sure that you take swimming classes. They're available now and where they're at. So you want to make sure that you utilize that. You also want to make sure that you get CPR training. It's extremely, extremely important. It can save a life. And D, you want to have devices. So if you can keep your cell phone with you, which most people do, that's wonderful. Life jackets. A lot of times when we go boating, we have our life jackets, they're on the boat, but we're not using them. We're not putting them on our children. So make sure that you're taking those steps, and ABCs help you to remember.
I think that's great.
There you go.
A, B, C, D. That's
Yeah.
pretty
It's
easy
not
to
hard.
If I can remember it, you can remember
It's
it.
not harder than that.
Well, we hope everybody has a safe and happy summer. And remember, it's our children, our community, our future. Thank you for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.